My dearest Nintendo, I hope you are doing well. I continue another series of restless nights as I wait for your reply. I write you for the 333rd week in a row, once again trying to convince you to release Mother 3 in the US. In this email I have sent another 100 reasons of why this needs to be done. I hope this convinces you and I eagerly wait your reply. Hugs and kisses, Noah. P.S. Add handsome Squidward to Smash. I think the Mother series is one of the most weird and unique games in all of Nintendo's catalog. In a time where JRPGs were steampunk or fantasy focused, Mother stood out as being just about some everyday kids fighting aliens. The game had humor, charm, and at times some pretty dark undertones. So while I wait for Nintendo to get back to me, I'm sure they will, just trust me. It's starting to get weird as I look at some games inspired by the Mother series, and in my usual fashion, all these games are going to be $5 or less, so let's get into it. Helix is fucking weird. Everything looks like a Salvador Dali painting, you learn magic from TVs, everybody talks in weird poetic statements, and you look like a rejected moon pie mascot. I just find it funny how someone took a look at some art and was like, yes, I like this, but how about we turn this shit into an RPG? And as strange as the game's art is, I actually really do like it a lot. I wish I could tell you the story, but to be honest, I have no clue what's going on. You play as Wayne, and I think you're mad at this guy who's the king of the moon, so you gather some friends and then go kick his ass. There is some symbolism though, like Wayne looking like a waning moon, hence his name, and the final boss resembling a full moon. I'm sure there's a lot more clever symbolism as well, it just takes some digging to find it. The presentation is quite off the wall. Everything looks like it was pulled out of a weird abstract painting. The soundtrack is super weird and very minimal. There's a great use of distorted guitars and quiet buzzing synths. The music and the visuals complement each other very well and help build a very strange atmosphere. One touch that I do think is very awesome is whenever you cast a spell and animation plays. It gives the spells a lot more character instead of just a screen shake and a sound effect. Like casting this spell summons a wall of meat. It's trippy and weird in the best way possible. There are some issues that might discourage someone from playing. For example, a lack of direction. It can be kind of hard to figure out where you're going when every NPC says nonsense. It's hard to figure out where to go next when no one actually can give you a clue of where to go.
What does that even mean?
Overall, I do think it's worth your time. I had a lot of fun exploring the world, fighting strange enemies, and blowing up the moon, and all for $3, it's a hell of a deal. If you have a chance, go grab it on Steam.
$3, 300 pennies, 12 quarters.
Space Funeral isn't the prettiest RPG, and its art style lets you know that immediately. It's gross and ugly, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. It helps make the world feel so much more depressing and hopeless. You play as Philip, who's a big whiny crybaby. What he lacks in emotional stability, he makes up for in strength, as he's quite the heavy hitter. You leave home to stop this world's corruption, which is the reason why it looks so ugly. Eventually, you run to your first companion, Horace, who is a pile of horse legs.
What the fuck is that?
He used to be a prince, but then was changed during the whole corruption. So he reluctantly joins you, hoping to change back into his original form. Along with Horace, we see a lot more strange NPCs. Stuff like a Cthulhu pirate, zombie people, Cindy Lou from the Peanuts, and my favorite being Dracula. Everything feels so out of place and crude, it truly makes this world feel corrupted and broken. There are also some pretty grotesque enemies. We see stuff like these dogs puking blood and this big yellow boar beast. My favorite though is probably the blood beast in the cavern, as we only get to see part of him, letting our imagination ponder how much more disgusting he actually is. The music is great as well, with multiple themes for each area, making it feel unique, along with a funky battle theme. I really like this first village's theme, as it's led by this airy distorted guitar. It helps make the village feel very empty and hollow. It sends the message home that there's something truly wrong with this world. The ending is great and strange, just like the game itself. At the end, we get to walk through the source of the corruption and fight the final boss named Moon. I won't spoil the ending completely, as I do think it's very interesting, and it also can be left up for interpretation of what actually happens. The only negative, and to be honest, it's more of a nitpick, is that every fight in the game isn't really that hard, along with some of the boss fights being super easy. I don't think this is a big issue since the game is more focused on telling you a very weird story instead of giving you a fleshed out RPG experience. The game's only an hour long and it's free, so I would recommend playing it if you're ready for a fun but strange RPG. This game has the art style of Earthbound, but none of the RPG elements. Anytime I think of a game inspired by Earthbound, I think about the RPG gameplay. But I'm glad to see this game's taking a narrative focus instead of having to incorporate those RPG elements. The game also has some pretty wacky and trippy visuals, which you get to see pretty much right off the bat. We find out from this kid that we were murdered, and something even worse is on its way. We use our spirit powers to possess the passengers to solve our own murder and to save them from the impending doom. As we find clues, we find out what reason each passenger is on this cruise. Eventually, we are given an ability to look into each passenger's mind, giving us more insight of who they are. Some characters portray themselves differently from what we see on a closer inspection. We get to look inside their mindscape, which is themed after each character. My favorite being the cat, as we realize that the cat's mind is actually a treasure trove of animal wisdom. Beautiful. Each character has their own music as well, which is something I really enjoy. It's another way of adding personality to a character. Quella's theme is somber and quiet, the Cook's is brash and bombastic, and Gwen's is very eerie and confusing. It's one of my favorite parts of the game, and I'm a big sucker for that type of stuff. The game can be slow-paced, which helps the mystery, but can also bog the game down at times since you're bouncing around from person to person, trying to move the story forward. The game is quite text-heavy, so if you're someone who likes to get immersed in a story, this is the game for you. There are also multiple endings, which gives the game some replay value, which is always a nice thing. The game's only $5, and the runtime for it is about 4 to 5 hours, which I think is a really good value for what you're getting, especially if you like to go through the game and see the different endings. Those are all the full games I'll be talking about today, but there's one more up-and-coming game that I'd like to talk about, which really caught my eye. Knuckle Sandwich caught my eye a little while ago when I stumbled across it on Steam. Its art style is very inspired by Mother, but also it adds its own twist to it to make it feel its own. The story starts off with us trying to find a job with the help of a local job center. We then participate in a game show trying to figure out which job is best for us. The game show has some WarioWare type minigames as it tries to figure out which job is the best for us. After we suck at every minigame, we are then kicked out and have to walk home in shame. Luckily, we find a flyer on the ground for a burger joint hiring literally anybody. Luckily, we're hired as we start our first day of work cleaning tables and serving burgers. After a long day of work, we then have to take out the trash before we can leave. While we are taking out the trash, we are attacked by a thug and then combat ensues. The game's combat is actually really fun. It has this interesting time mechanic which is involved with attacking and dodging, and it keeps the player engaged at every turn of the fight. You also have some abilities, but not a lot, but considering this is a demo, I'm assuming we're gonna get more down the line. After the battle, our boss decides to do a very logical thing. He then drags the thug's body into the kitchen, cooks him up and makes him into a burger, and calls it the Knuckle Sandwich. Oh wait, yes, I mean the fucking insane thing to do. Sadly, that's where the demo ends, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm really looking forward to playing this game in the future, and if you're interested in it as well, check it out on Steam and definitely play the demo if you get a chance. I don't think we'll actually ever get Mother 3 in the US, but I'm glad the series' impact is still felt today. Along with Knuckle Sandwich and a lot of other games that are coming out, like Oddity and Glitch, the Mother series is alive and well, just in a different form. There are also a lot more games I could talk about, but I just don't have the time for today. But one thing I will say, those games probably wouldn't exist if the Mother series had never gotten its cult following in the first place. So even though we're never going to get Mother 3, I would like to...
You got mail.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sick. Nintendo wrote me back. Okay, let me see. Basically it says, please stop writing us. It's getting really annoying. Because of you, we had to cancel Breath of the Wild 2. Oh my god. Hey, this is Noah. Thanks again for watching. I decided to try something new. I maybe do another one of these videos in the future, but right now I'm working on another $5 review that should be coming within a week or two. If you want to help the channel, like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot. And as always, thank you again for watching.